You're staring at your phone. Bank app open. Balance $12.47. Refresh. Still $12.47. 3 days ago, that number had 4 digits. 3 days ago, you felt like you'd just made the smartest move of your life. Let's go back to the beginning. You're 17. You just got your first real paycheck. Not lawn mowing money, not birthday cash. Real money. Direct deposit, your name on it, sitting in an account you'd opened yourself. You worked a stockroom job. 6-hour shifts after school, restocking shelves and breaking down boxes until your arms ached and your shoes smelled like cardboard. Nobody handed you that job. You applied, you showed up, you learned the barcode scanner on your own. And when that first check hit your account, something in you shifted. You felt like an adult. You felt like you'd finally cracked the code everybody older than you seemed to already know.
Here's the thing nobody tells you at that age. Earning money and understanding money are two completely different skills. School taught you the quadratic formula. Nobody taught you what a legitimate investment actually looks like, or how interest works, or what it means when a stranger promises to double your money in 48 hours. You didn't know that gap existed inside you. You were about to find out the hard way, and it was going to cost you almost everything you'd earned. It started with a text, not from a stranger, from a name you sort of recognized. A friend of a friend. Someone who'd popped up in your group chat a handful of times, always seemed chill, always seemed like he had his life a little more together than everyone else your age. He said he'd found a way to flip money fast. Some kind of trading group. Guaranteed returns. People posting screenshots of profits almost every day. He said he'd already doubled his own money twice that month, and he wasn't even bragging about it. He said it like it was just obvious, like everyone in the know was doing this. You should feel a little skeptical right now, hearing that secondhand. Good.
Hold on to that feeling, because you didn't have it. Not really. You had $400 saved up, a phone full of curiosity, and a brain that had never once been taught what a red flag looked like. Nobody sat you down and said, here's what a scam sounds like before it happens. You only knew what one looked like after. He sent screenshots, bank transfer confirmations, thank you messages from other people, folks tagging the account and saying it changed their whole month. It looked real because it was built to look real. That's the entire job of a scam. It doesn't need to convince a genius. It just needs to look exactly convincing enough to someone who's never seen this particular con before, someone whose only reference point for investing is what he's saying right now. You asked questions, the way you thought a smart, careful person would. He had answers ready every time, smooth, confident, dropping words like arbitrage and verified payout and liquidity window. You didn't fully understand any of it, but you didn't want to be the one to say, wait, what does that mean? In front of someone who sounded like he already had it figured out. So you nodded along in your head and kept typing, okay, that makes sense. Then came the moment that sealed it. He said, send $50 first if you want proof. I'll show you it's real before you commit anything bigger.
You sent $50. 40 minutes later. Not a day, not a week. 40 minutes. $75 landed back in your account. Just like that. Real money, in your real bank, with your name on it. That felt like proof. It wasn't. It was bait. One of the oldest tricks in the entire scam playbook. Give a little back first, fast and clean, so the bigger ask that comes right after feels safe instead of risky. Your brain did exactly what it was designed to do. It took that one small, true thing and used it to erase every doubt about the bigger thing that hadn't happened yet. And the bigger ask came fast, almost too fast to really think it through.
The group's closing new spots tonight, he said. After that, they're not taking anyone else in for months, maybe not until next year. Urgency. Right on schedule. Right when you were feeling good about the $75. Right when your guard, if you'd ever really had one up, was at its absolute lowest. You looked at your balance. $400, your whole first paycheck, still glowing with that new adult feeling you'd had for exactly 3 days. Some part of you thought about waiting until morning. Some part of you thought about texting your mom or asking a coworker who'd been working longer than you. But it was almost 9 at night. The deadline was midnight. And asking someone felt like it might mean hearing the word no. And you didn't want to hear no. Not on this.
So you didn't ask. You told yourself you'd explain it after. Once the money came back. Once you had proof stacked on proof. Once it was a win instead of a risk. That's the story you told yourself, standing in your room at 9 p.m., phone in one hand, the other hand hovering over the transfer button. You sent it. All $400. No app, no company name, no platform with a logo and a login page. Just a string of numbers he texted you, and the word "trust me" doing all the heavy lifting. You hit confirm. And for about 10 seconds, you felt that same rush you'd felt when the $75 came back. Like you were finally playing the game everyone else already knew how to play. Then you waited. 10 minutes. Nothing. You told yourself,
These things take time. 30 minutes, nothing. You told yourself he was probably just busy, probably dealing with a bunch of people tonight, probably fine. An hour in, you texted him. Just, hey, did it go through? The message sat there, delivered, not read. You watched that little delivered tag like it owed you an explanation. You tried calling, straight to voicemail, a mailbox that had never even been set up, just a robotic voice telling you the number couldn't take a message. You went back to the group chat where you'd first seen his name, the one that had made this whole thing feel social, feel vouched for. He wasn't in it anymore. Not removed, just gone, like his messages had been deleted right along with him, like he'd never posted those screenshots at all. That's the scene you started with. Phone in hand, room quiet, bank app open. Balance, $12.47. Refreshing a number that was never going to change no matter how many times you pulled down on that screen. Here's what actually happened, laid out plainly, without the panic in the middle of it. There was no trading group. There was no arbitrage, no liquidity window, no guaranteed payout. There was one person who had clearly done this before, who knew exactly how a first paycheck feels. The pride, the eagerness, the fear of looking dumb by asking too many questions, and who built a script around all of it. The $75 wasn't generosity. It was an investment in you. A small cost to make the real ask, the $400 ask, feel earned instead of dangerous.
This is the part people tend to skip when they tell a story like this.
You didn't lose that money because you were stupid. You lost it because nobody had ever sat you down and taught you what to look for. Scammers don't usually go after people with financial literacy. That takes too much effort to crack. Too many questions get asked, too many red flags get noticed early. They go after the gap. They go after the 17-year-old with a first real check and zero training on what a guaranteed return actually means. Because nothing that's guaranteed and fast and secret is ever true at the same time. That combination, guaranteed, fast, secret, is the tell. Every time. So here's what came out of that $400. Because it didn't just stay a loss sitting in your chest
For years, it became the first real lesson you ever got about money, and it stuck harder than anything a classroom could have taught you. Legitimate money doesn't move on urgency. If someone needs you to decide in the next 3 hours, that pressure isn't a side effect of a good opportunity. It's the entire product they're selling you. Real investments, real jobs, real deals can survive you sleeping on it one night. Verify outside the conversation. Not through a link they send you, not through a screenshot they show you, not through anyone whose entire case rests on you trusting them specifically. Through your own search, your own bank, Your own second opinion from someone who has absolutely nothing to gain either way. And asking a question out loud, even one that feels dumb, even one that might make you look like you don't already know, has never once cost anyone $400. Staying quiet has cost people a lot more than that. You didn't get that $400 back. Nobody ever came knocking with an apology or a refund. But you got something out of that night you didn't have 3 days earlier. The instinct that caught every version of this that came after it. The fake job offers, the too good rental listings, the guy in your DMs a year later running the exact same script with different words. That instinct is the trade nobody wants to make, but it ends up paying you back longer than $400 ever could have.